We're playing Drawception. This is a game where you draw a picture based on a caption, or you write a caption based on a picture. So, let's draw. Now we can skip if we're not interested in what the caption is. And we'll just keep going until we find something that strikes up some kind of inspiration. I could caption this if I wanted. Someone else will go and draw a picture based on that caption. Then we'll just keep going until we find something we want to draw. Person didn't kill him. Alright, well we can go for this. I'm going to draw, I reckon, a detective who is looking at a crime scene. And that'll be the beginning of our picture. Now, we're going to start this with just the sort of overall idea of what's going on in the scene. And we'll get into the more specific details later on. Now that looks like more of a 10-gallon hat than a fedora, which is what I'm going for, but that'll be all right. Now I think we want to draw something like a dead body. Here we've got the body here. I think I'll actually go back a bit. Yeah. Here's the right leg. At some point we're going to have to ask the question, or get the detective to ask the question, who killed this man? Decide that someone didn't kill him. Or we could just not, but that would not exactly be in the spirit of the game. Now I think we'll want like a pool of blood. I like these sideward strokes. Very easy to do with a mouse. And I play with a mouse because that's what I have. Then I think we have to draw a suspect. He's got to be in a sort of suspicious situation. Draw his body here. He's sort of leaning over the body, or by it, and he is in a compromising position. His hands are out and he's going, no, I didn't kill him. Hands are very, very difficult. I'm probably just going to film most of that in. Now we can zoom in if we want to get a bit more detail going on. And I think I want maybe a smaller brush, or a smaller pencil as it were, I should say. And nope. We want some black. Just do a bit of hair on this guy. And we'll just do the shape of him a bit more specifically. He has no murder weapon, so how could he be the killer? Sorry if you're hearing a bit of bumps here and there. This is an interesting setup I've got going on. I think that little detail needs to be done with a smaller tool like that. All right. Now just do a bit under there. And I need to get the sense that the detective is questioning the situation. So I'm going to do a big question mark there. And then, you know what, I haven't thought of anything more clever, so I'm just going to do a big, or really a little. It wasn't me. All right. Now, I think we want to add a bit more detail to the scene, not necessarily revealing what's going on, because I like that this picture has a bit of mystery to it, but something to just give some texture and some visual interest. So I want to do a bit of shading. And I think this color, since it's the same as the background, really isn't going to be the best for our base. We're just going to do some hair on the back of this guy's head. Maybe the outline of the brim of his hat a bit more. Yeah, that's it. And you can see this side to side pattern I've got going on. Once again, because I'm using a mouse and it's nice and simple to do. And then we can take this color and just introduce that a bit more. And maybe he's got brown hair, so we'll just introduce a bit of brown, but I'm going to be a bit creative and not necessarily show all the color in shot itself. Now, I don't really know what I was just doing there. I'm thinking we might do a bit of an outline of the detective's shirt. You know what? Looking at all this, I'm just going to take a bunch of it out. I think we want to go much more simple for this. That's a simple silhouette. Thinking about it now, looks a bit more effective. This little bit of detail, that's probably going to be better. You don't need to go complex. Just add a bit more here. And it looks a bit more like a person now. We don't have much time left. Might add a bit of detail to the blood. Just make it look a bit more present in the scene. And you know what? I reckon we're going to do some shadows. Now, we do want to differentiate the shadows from the background. And I think it's not very realistic, but we're going to do the shadows in a lighter color than the background. I'll have them going this way. That just makes the scene pop a little more. Now there's not really a shadow for this detective because his feet are much further down. And or maybe we can add a bit of texture or a bit of something, I don't know what you call it, to this question mark just to make it look a bit more 3D, a bit more part of the scene. Maybe we can just have the blood trickling a bit more just to fill in some of this empty space. Okay, good. And now just going a bit tighter on this fellow's face. I like what's going on here, but I think we can just add a bit of detail just to make him look a bit more surprised. Just filling in those details. Maybe give him a nose. Some ears. No, I don't like the ears. Let's take those out. Let's look at where we're up to in our last few seconds. Just want to define the outline of this guy a bit better. I'm not very happy with how he's turned out. I probably should have paid a bit more attention to his outline before. And I'll just keep doing that. I think this is a bit better. Let's just clean it up a little. And then I would say that's time. We've got a nice little scene there. Nice little drawing in response to that prompt. I think that captures the idea of the scene in an interesting and creative way. Death came for the arborist. I don't know what that means, really. Okay. So an arborist. Let's check out the definition of arborist. A tree surgeon. Okay. So obviously we can tell it's someone climbing trees here. Doing some stuff in a tree. I think this could be fun. And I think, again, I'm going to do a silhouette style thing to match this mood of death. Alright, so we'll go with that grey again. And I think we want to set a bit of a scene here. What we want is maybe a light grey night sky. We'll just draw in a horizon there. And just fill that in. Now, some of these tools aren't available to you immediately when you get onto Drawception. It takes a bit of time for you to build up some of the currency. I think it's ducks at the moment. When I used to play, it wasn't ducks, it was coins. But you get some currency and you get some more tools if you want to help you do these games. And that's a nice little background, a horizon. Maybe there's some grass there. And we're just going to draw a tree. And we'll start with this rough indication. I think I want it to be a reasonably snaky tree. And the base will just fan out into the roots a little. Now I can see here that these fellas are climbing trees with a rope. So I'll just draw a little guy with a hat, a hard hat. And he's in the tree and he's doing something. Just with this fine brush. It's not really brush. I don't know. Maybe it is a brush. I don't know. He's using a saw or something like that. We'll just... His legs look a little short. In fact, his head is massively over-proportioned. I think that's good. I'll just go in here. Take away some of that. Okay. That's probably really not life size, but I think that'll do. Now, to me, it really doesn't look like this tree is on the ground at all. So what I want to do is go in here, show the tree roots a bit better, or integrate them more into the ground. I'm just going to squiggle over this base of the tree. Then with the black that we did the tree, and we'll do some more squiggling, and we'll do the roots of the tree. and define them a bit better. Alright, and then we'll go back with the grey. We'll just do that, and I think we need, usually I wouldn't want to, but in this case I think we need a bit more of that black. Beautiful. And then we need death, and I'm thinking, rather than showing him die, I'm thinking we'll have the Grim Reaper. Ew, that's not how I spell that. The Grim Reaper at the bottom looking up at him. We want him in profile, so I'll just there's a bit of a reference we can use, and go in the base of the tree. I'll just draw in the Grim Reaper. You can see here we're just using these strokes to do the outline of his cloak. Okay. Time check, we've got 4.5 minutes left, so we've still got a decent amount of time. Now I would like, we'll just do a bit of his hands. Then I think we need to go back and really fill in some detail on the Grim Reaper. Just using that reference we've got. Change that brush size so we can do some more fine details. And we will have to go back over this. We'll also, as we did with that tree, sort of blend him into the ground. I'm thinking we can sort of integrate him. He's sort of wispy and whimsical. Whimsical isn't really the right word. But we can go in, really sort of do these wisps, like he's emerged from some other plane to kill this, what did we call him? Arborist. Now, I shouldn't forget to fill in the trees there. And we'll just do the back of his scythe here. I'll do... This is sort of awkward with a mouse, but that's alright. Do his scythe like that. It doesn't look like in our reference the blade of the scythe goes beyond. Nope. Undo that. Probably could have just undone it. Okay, we've only got 2 minutes remaining, so now I'm going to focus on doing some leaves in the trees. We could even make it a dead tree. Death has already come for the tree, and that's a bit silly. Is it? Maybe, but I don't actually mind the idea. At the very least, it's going to be a dying tree. Now, in retrospect, I would have liked to have added a bit of detail to the sky. But I think we've still got a bit we can do. Now, this guy isn't really standing out, so I'll just add maybe a bit of the yellow of his hard hat. And what was our arborist wearing in these previous references we got? A bit of high vis, I'm not into that. I think just just a bit of the genes. Now, we haven't got much time remaining. I'm going to work a bit faster. I'm going to do a bit of a moon here. And then over the top of that, I'm thinking a bit of cloud. Now we'll start with a black base for the cloud. And then we'll go to this dark grey for that cloud. We don't have to go exactly over where we were. We can play around a little. Bit of white for the cloud now, just a little, because it's nighttime, and we'll add some stars. Okay, we'll add a few stars just to show that it's nighttime, to bring in the atmosphere. Then what I want to do is add a bit of shadow. In the last few seconds, I'll add some more stars. And you need your stars in a different colour to the sky, preferably. Alright. And that's our picture done. Death came for the arborist. In retrospect, I'm not keen on how much of these colours are there. There are, I should say. I don't mind the colours, but I think really we should have blended them to the black of the arborist a little better. But overall, I think it's okay for 10 minutes. I do like the transition between the sky and the ground, although perhaps the ground could have been textured a little better. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Portal destroys city. I enjoy doing cityscapes, even though I'm not particularly good at them. Let's just bring up a reference. City scape. Okay, this isn't bad. What I think we need to do is start with our portal. And what we're going to want to do is choose one colour for the sky, one colour for the city, and one major colour for the portal. I think for the sky, we're going to choose white. That's going to be... I've changed my mind. We're going to have a nighttime scene. We're going to choose black for this sky and a white city, a lit up white city. We'll just do some stars in the sky, and I'm not expecting the sky to go more than halfway down the frame, so that'll do. And then a bit of, not white, some wispy cloud over the moon. And then we'll just blend that cloud with the white to show that it is in fact cloud and not just bits of twine. Okay, maybe this cloud is leading down and creating this portal. I think we'll use a bit of a red base for the portal. Beautiful. And not the same brush size, but going down to minimum brush size. Make the frame a bit bigger. And then just do sort of random circles, swirls around this portal. I think actually the portal will need to be lowered down. And we'll do it bigger, I guess. And then we'll just really go for it with these swirls. I think we'll use all three of our colours we've got here. This is a nice custom colour palette. Or not custom as such, but it's not the standard colour palette. And it's quite a nice set of colours to do some creative stuff with. And we'll do a bit of red, go over the top of this so it's all swirling together. Then finally we'll end it with the black so it blends nicely into our nighttime scene. And I just want to redefine some of these clouds that lead to the portal. Now, I think maybe we'll do a bit of a white core to the portal This is where everything's being drawn into. And so we'll do some outward going wisps of portal. I don't know. This will just sort of blend it all together. Have a bit of texture. Now, of course, this is wreaking havoc on a city. That is not what I wanted to do. So we need to do a cityscape, or preferably a cityscape, I reckon. This will be the base for our city. Beautiful. And then we just want to go in and do some rough building shapes. These will of course be destroyed by the portal, a lot of them. And of course, no part of a city is going to tend to be level if it's quite a dense cityscape. So we'll fill in some of these bases here. And we want some different city shapes, I reckon. And I think there are bits of this that are just a bit too sparse. Now we want to go in, really sort of square up the city, just at the outskirts where it's not going to be affected by that portal. Just so we know that it is in fact a city. Got 4.5 minutes left. Okay. You don't usually have towers leaning like that in major cities. Okay. Square it all up. I don't know exactly what's going on there. And I think we'll just straighten that up, because that's all looking a bit dodgy to me. We'll see there's a smoothing effect on the brush. That is quite handy. I don't remember this being in the game when I last played it. It's very useful when you're playing with a mouse. You can't make those nice smooth shapes on your own. Okay. Now we just need to give a bit more detail and texture to the city, I reckon. Now I reckon the base of the city is about here. About here, let's say. And let's say that it leads to a nice water front. This isn't a great water effect, quite frankly, but hey, now there we have a bit where I forgot or just didn't manage to get the white. Actually, this is some of the worst water I've ever drawn, but that's okay. And I'll just do some lines here and there showing that this is in fact a city. Beginning to regret my decision to do the city in white, although I don't know. I think there are things I could have done to make it look a little better, but we do only have 2.5 minutes left, so there's no point in regretting that just yet. Alright, we want a fairly solid front to where the city starts and the water starts, although we don't want it too solid. Okay, and now we need to show the portal wreaking havoc on the city. I think from the middle, it's just spitting out I don't know, whatever portal spit out. Maybe there are a few shooting blasts. Now we've got to get a full range of colours. In fact, I'll go with black next. It's just this absolute destruction. You know what? We probably need a bit of that coming from the moon. If indeed this portal is coming from the moon, which doesn't, in retrospect, really make sense, but there you have it. And then we just... a bit of white there. We probably want bits of building. Just flying to pieces. Alright, now I want to have a bit of a reflection of that portal in the waterway. I like doing waterways on my cities because there's so much you can do with them. I reckon in the last 30 seconds we just want to absolutely emphasize the disaster that's happening here. We have... oh, that's not bad actually. There are chunks being taken out of these buildings. We need to really show that they're not in a good way. 3 seconds left. I think that's all we've got time for. Portal destroys city. Not bad. I'm pretty happy with what we've done today. Now those will go out into the ether, I should say. People will respond to them with text and with drawings when we did text. And we'll see what comes back.